Yeah, so we're live now, and we have had a series of severe technical problems that were all my end. I was blaming Surma and had him connect with like three different devices, but it's definitely all me because my earphones had just stopped working. Like they were making all the correct noises and noise cancellation and everything like they were working, but no sound came
That's
through them. So it was a had to turn. It took resetted my phone and it was still broken. But yeah, I've turned the earphones on and off. And I tell you what, like trying to do that while walking up a hill, while sweating and sun cream running in your eyes, is absolutely miserable. So
so I see the sunscreen has been deployed. I was actually quite impressed that you kept like to keep the tweet stream, the tweet thread updated because I'm in my head. I know that you're walking, but in my head you're like looking down at your phone, trying not to walk into trees while still trying to get the YouTube link and put it in the tweet and get it all in there. So it's like it's impressive.
I I did have someone behind me shout that I'd missed a turning while doing that. So yeah, that's,
Yeah, and I just saw you're now
oh, I feel
past the 1/5 mark of the 100 kilometers, if I saw correctly. The first fifth you have behind you. How
yeah,
are you feeling?
yeah. Um, well, as I say, I was paranoid about my right knee, uh, and it's all sort of, it's kind of feeling okay now. I've got my feet are sort of feeling a little bit spongy, you know, like where they stop feeling like uh, a bone wrapped in skin, and it just kind of feels like chunks of bone in a sack of gel. So that's sort of
That
happening.
that
But
yeah, that doesn't inspire confidence. I find like knees are no, just keep it intact. Don't break it, please, or anything. That'd be helpful.
that is the plan. Oh, do you know what though? It's so nice being in like woodland area now because it's really muggy, mate. It's so muggy, and it's that's the weather that kills me because I'm a professional sweater. I sweat so much, and in muggy weather it just doesn't evaporate. So I just turn into a like a sort of glazed white boy. So it's yeah,
Not
it's
just
nice to
white
be
boy,
in
you're
the
now at glazed
cool.
white boy. And I guess you're also way past the one armpit sweat. You have reached full two armpit sweat at this point.
I've do you know what I'm 2 for 2 on sweaty armpits. The front hasn't sweated a lot yet, but I suspect that's going to come later. That's yeah, that'll happen.
So,
Oh,
after your sister successfully established the northernness in this AMA, there's a question that I saw that I'm assuming is about the south versus the north, and it's from Kira. And the question is, do you have to import stotties down south? And I don't know what stotties are, and I hope you can help us all understand.
so I went to university with Kira, and she's Middlesbrough born and bred. I went to Middlesbrough for university, and I don't know what a stotty is. So
I was waiting for the
I
big
feel
revelation now. The big stotties are the best northern pastry that you can imagine or something. And now this is a major letdown, Jake.
well the major Middlesbrough cuisine is the chicken parmo, and that was like when I went to give a talk at the university last year. It was Kira who I asked, is like, where's the place if I've got one night to have a parmo again? Where should I get it from? And yeah, her advice delivered. So a stotty. I think the thing is that we need to guess now. We need to make it up and come up with the canonical
Oh.
answer for what a stotty is.
Well, if anyone
I
can come up
reckon.
with what is the canonical answer about something from the north, it's gonna be you. I realized I assumed that it's something edible. That might not be true. It could be anything really. But yeah, what does it sound like to you as a northerner? Stotty. Oh no. Have we lost him at this crucial moment where we're about to come up with our own answer to the question? Ah, that's the downside of the woodlands. I do have a backup question if he ever makes it back. That would, be a bit web tech related. But oh, there's a couple of individual frames coming through. No? We'll we'll have to see what. You know what? I'm just gonna answer a question. There's one question that I also saw here. Um, the host has left the meeting. Okay, I'm just gonna answer a question. I have no idea if at this point this will still be going up to YouTube. Well, I'm just gonna pretend or assume that it does. And just answer a question for Jake. And it's one that I had as a backup from David. And the question is, what are the most important cryptographic algorithms to know as a web developer? And the reason I thought this question was interesting is because crypto is a touchy subject, man. Like there's this base rule, I think, that at your life throughout software engineering, you get told that don't roll your own crypto. As in, like, if you find a paper around, I don't know, SHA-256 or RSA, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna implement that. Don't. They're incredibly nuanced, and even like the way you implement them can be, side effects, and you don't realize that the
This
way
is the
you
problem with
implement
getting
them.
outside the big city, is that there's no connectivity anymore.
He's back. Now, can you hear me still?
Oh, and now I can't
Jake.
hear you. This
Now,
is amazing.
brilliant.
All right. So the I probably need to then turn my earphones on and off again. Why is that a thing? So before I do that, actually, let's just do this without earphones. Come on, let's get rid of these.
Oh, we're improvising. If it's actually the earphones or the software, we'll find out. Will he be able to hear me in a couple of seconds? I am gonna, if we can communicate, I can hear you very quietly, but I can turn up my volume. Can you hear me?
So hilariously, I think it's playing the sound for you like it's through the tiny little phone call speaker. That's amazing. Right. Give me. Right. I'll leave you with what I think a stotty is, and then I'll turn my earphones on and off, and you can fill, right, with some musings about I genuinely think a stotty might be a cake. That's my real answer. But to me, a stotty sounds like the animal that they make kebab from. Like, a stotty is an animal with a hole through the middle. Like the stotty gallops around the Yorkshire Dales, and then the Yorkshireman will chase it down, and they just throw up, and it goes straight. That's the end of the stotty. So, right, I'm gonna try and turn my earphones off and on again, and we'll see if we can even just say goodbye. Right, here we go.
Yeah, I think, Kira, you're gonna be violently disappointed in that answer. I apologize, but it's not my fault. I thought it was a good question, but what do I know? Okay, go on. While Jake is resetting his earphones, gonna go back to my cryptography question. Yeah, implementing your own cryptography. Like, knowing the algorithms can be interesting, although I always found that they're super complicated, like especially hashing algorithms, like they are very complicated, and you don't know why. Like, why are they shifting these bits around all these different ways, and then more bit permutations? I don't know. The point is that you can implement the algorithm, like do the steps correctly, but even the way you implement them can leave you vulnerable to certain attacks. Like, if you are implementing some form of encryption, like AES yourself, it might be less secure than AES is supposed to be, because the way you implement it leaves it open to timing attacks, for example. And so I am super wary that whenever cryptography comes into one of my ideas for an app or for a library, like, use something that's off the shelf, that's been battle tested, that's been reviewed, because otherwise it will probably end up biting you in the butt later on in life. That being said, this question was not necessarily about like which algorithms should you know how to implement yourself, which one should you know, and that's a bit different because what I like, there's a couple of Swiss Army knife algorithms methods I think that are useful. So for example, what I recommend you do, and I'm guessing you, the viewer, are potentially one of the web developers that follow Jake, is look what the Web Crypto API, Subtle Crypto as it's called, has to offer. You don't need to understand all of them, but basically if you have a way to implement arbitrary amount, if you have a way to encrypt arbitrary amounts of data with AES, that's one good thing to have. Oh, he's back.
Can you hear me? Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh my God. This is an absolute mess.
Incredible.
Were you just talking about AES?
I was talking about AES and crypto. I took one of the backup questions and was just like, you know what, I'm just going to answer it because clearly you're not currently in any position to answer questions cohesively.
Mate, this is so much stress. I'm like, my phone's being annoying, my earphones are being annoying.
Well, it's exactly what you need on this kind of day, isn't it? You're already like pushing your body to its physical...
Hey.
No? Yes? Are you like, is this like the infamous 10-second delay that we are experiencing right now? Oh boy. This doesn't look good. Now, the fun fact is, I don't have the power to stop the broadcast. I have to keep going until Jake manages to stop the broadcast, to log back in and press the button. I mean, I can just make this a Soma show. I'm okay with that. But the thing is, like, we're supposed to do the next question in half an hour at this point, and if that's another ordeal like this, like, woo, this will be interesting. Yeah, it looks like we have lost Jake again. Although I feel like I can still hear him taking steps occasionally. Like it's, I mean, y'all can probably see that. Ooh, are you back?
Can
you hear me?
Froze.